Hello friends, welcome once again. Now we are going to read the rehabilitation of refuge. This is the last section of the chapter 1. Um, so we shall start now. This was without question the greatest mass migration in history. Nowhere in known history had the transfer of so many million taken place in so few days. Yes, about like the integration of princely states, the rehabilitation of refugees was a political problem, unprecedented in nature and scope. Yes, the refugees who came to India after independence numbered close to 8 million, a sea lakh. This was greater than the population of small European countries such as Austria and Norway and even the continent of Australia. These refugees came from two sides, West Pakistan and East Pakistan. Okay, these refugees has lost all in the carnage and were to be rehabilitated and resettled in India. This was a great destabilizing problem but was handled efficiently, especially in the West. Resettlement of refugees from West and East Pakistan. A comparative analysis. Okay, West Pakistan, East Pakistan, West, East. Okay, religious ethnicity of refugees mainly Punjabi Hindus and Sikhs. Here in East Pakistan, Bengali Hindus. Timeline of refugees. Nearly all Hindu and Sikhs from West Pakistan had migrated in one go. Okay, due to this, by 1951, the problem of rehabilitation of refugees from West Pakistan, had been fully tackled. But here, the large number of refugees in East Pakistan, East Bengal, had stayed on there in the initial years of 1947 and 1948. But as communal riots broke out periodically in East Bengal, there was a steady stream of refugees from there year after year till 1971. Thus, rehabilitating them became a continuous task. Okay, regions were settled because of the linguistic affinity. It was easier for Punjabi and Sindhi refugees to settle in the today's Himachal Pradesh, uh, Haryana, Western UP, Rajasthan, and Delhi. Refugees also got to spread in towns and cities of Western India such as Bombay, Pune, Ahmedabad. Okay, here in East Pakistan, from East Pakistan, resettlement of refugees from Bengal could take place only in Bengal and to a lesser extent in Assam and Tripura. As a result, a large number of agricultural class was forced to survive in urban areas uh, uh, as underclass, contributing to process of economic impoverishment of West Bengal. Resettlement of land. Most of the refugees could occupy the large lands and property left by Muslim migrants to in Pakistan in today's Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, and could therefore be resettled. Yes, they occupied that property which was left behind by the people who went to the Pakistan, and this was not the case in West Bengal. Yes, obviously because the migration was the continuous process there for so many years. They did not migrate in one go. Now, what are the challenges faced in refugees rehabilitation? Temporary steps. As a temporary relief, refugee camps were set up in Kurukshetra, where they were provided with food, clothes, and entertainment free of cost. Okay. Subsequently, the government also initiated steps to provide refugees with permanent homes and productive work. Farmers from West Pakistan, lands vacated by Muslims in East Pakistan, East Punjab, Delhi, and UP and Rajasthan were used to resettle refugees from West Pakistan. Okay. Principles of standard acre. It will come what is standard acre and graded cut were used by Tarlok Singh, Director General of Rehabilitation East in Punjab, to allot lands for cultivation proportionate to the amount of land they had left behind. Okay, loans were advanced to buy seeds and equipments, rehabilitating artisans, laborers, and traders from West Pakistan. Okay, to resettle them, Faridabad, an industrial township in Indian Cooperative Union (ICU), headed by Kamla Devi Chattopadhyay, was very active in Faridabad and organized cooperatives and self-help groups, setting shops and production units. Okay, cultural impact: the economy could be rebuilt. However, the recreation of entire village communities proved impossible. Sikhs also lost their much loved place of worship, such as Nankana Sahib, birthplace of Guru Nanak and founder of Sikhism. Okay, Delhi till 1911. Till 1991, Delhi had been a Mughal city in nature and culture. However, by 1950s, it had become a Punjabi city. Around half a million refugee, 5 lakhs settled in Delhi. Okay, and after partition, who in the coming time started dominating its trade and commerce. Slums. Bombay city also received around half a million refugees from West Pakistan, which intensified housing shortage of Bombay. This led to the growth of slums. Extremist movements. Displaced from their homes, refugees were a potential fodder for extremist movement. In Delhi and Punjab, radical Hindu organizations started mobilizing the refugees. In Bengal, and communists were doing the same. Okay. Role of Tarlok Singh. Who was Tarlok Singh? He was the Director General of Rehabilitation of Refugees, no? Director General of Rehabilitation in Punjab, responsible for the resettlement of refugees. He studied at London School of Economics, 1912 to 2005. Was a member of Indian Civil Service. Okay, member of Planning Commission of India until his retirement, 1967. Wrote India's first 5-year plan. Okay, was the first chairman of Indian Association of Social Science Institutions. Awards and honors: Padma Vibhushan, Bhushan, Shri. Soderstrom Medal for Economics in 1970 by Royal Swedish Academy of Science in Stockholm. Books authored: Land Resettlement Manual for Displaced Person, Planning Process. Role of Rehabilitation of Refugees in Punjab. As the Director General of Rehabilitation in Punjab, he made two innovations that ensured successful settlement of the refugees. What? Standard acre and graded cut. So we read earlier, no? He resettled the refugees and gave them land as per this two principles. Standard acre. What was standard acre? Standard acre was defined as the amount of land which could yield 10 to 11 monds of rice. Okay, one mond of is equal to 40 kg. Okay, the idea took care of the variation in the soil and climate across the province. In the dry unirrigated lands districts, 4 physical acre comprise of 1 standard acre. Obviously, because in the dry and unirrigated districts, the productivity will be lower. So the 4 physical acre will be producing what 1 standard acre will be producing in a normal circumstances. In green canal colonies, 1 physical acre equaled 1 standard acre. Graded cut. The idea helped to overcome the discrepancy between the land left behind by the refugees and land initially made available to them. According to it, for the first 10 acre, cut of 25%. Okay, if somebody is claiming for 10 per acre of land, okay, so 7.5 acre will be given. Okay, and thus got only 7.5 acre instead of 10. And for the higher claims, cut were steeper, 30% for 10 to 30 acre. It's like, income tax nowadays, progressive taxation. So same principle, and on upwards till those having in excess of 500 acre were land taxed at the rate of 95%. Wow. By November 1949, Tarlok Singh and his team had made 2.5 lakh allotments of land. These refugees were then distributed equally across the district of East Punjab. Refugees were invited to protest against their allotments. Okay, protest. So what have we read? We'll just revise fast. Greatest mass rehabilitation of refugees we read. Greatest mass migration in history, because many million migrated in so few days. It was the political problem of unprecedented in its nature and scope. Nature why? Because the refugees were not only migrating, they were being killed, raped, looted, abducted. So there were social problems. It was not a normal migration, and scope was larger because the amount of refugees, the number of refugees were so high. So that's why unprecedented in nature and scope. Close to 8 million refugees migrated, equal to the relative to the population of Australia and Norway and even the continent of Australia. Okay, from West Pakistan and East Pakistan, the refugees has lost all in the carnage. It's obvious. West Pakistan, then resettlement of refugees from West and East Pakistan. A comparative analysis. West Pakistan refugees, from Punjab, mainly consist of Punjabi Hindus and Sikhs. They migrated in one go, and by 1951, this problem more or less settled. The rehabilitation problem of these people. Nehru Liaquat Pact 50. Regions where they settled because of linguistic affinity: Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, Western UP, Rajasthan and Delhi, and some settled in Bombay, Pune, Ahmedabad also. And resettlement of land, where they were settled: today's Punjab, UP, Rajasthan. Okay, so they took the land which was left behind by the Muslim migrants, who went to the Pakistan after the partition. Now, what about the East Pakistan? The people who came from the Bengal, so they were mainly Hindus, and they came slowly. They were initially, they stayed there for some initial years, but after the riots broke out, they were forced to evict that East Bengal. Okay, and till 1971 they were welcome. Okay, they are welcome now also after CEA, but till 1971 they were coming in huge numbers. Resettlement of refugees from East Bengal could take place only in the Bengal, Assam, and Bengal, and to a later extent Assam and Tripura. As a result, large number of agriculture class was forced to survive in urban areas as the underclass. It led to the economic impoverishment of West Bengal. Okay, this was not the case. The resettlement of land. This was not the case of in West Bengal. Resettlement did not take place in West Bengal. Why? Because the people didn't come in the one go. They came steadily. So that's why. Challenges faced in the refugees rehabilitation. Temporary steps. They were refugee camps in Kurukshetra. They were given free food, cloth, and entertainment free of cost, and they were given permanent homes and productive work. Farmers from West Pakistan, lands vacated by Muslims in East Punjab, Delhi, and UP and Rajasthan, were used to resettle them, and they were given according to the principle of standard acre and graded cut. Okay, Tarlok Singh was the one rehabilitating artisans, laborers, and for this Faridabad, United States of Faridabad, Indian Cooperative Union headed by Kamladevi Chattopadhyay was active in Faridabad and organized cooperative and SSG, setting shops and production skills. I was just joking, it is Faridabad. I just heard a girl in my college long back, she was from Faridabad, she was telling it United States of Faridabad, so that's why. Cultural impact. Sikhs also lost their much loved places of worship, such as Nankana Sahib, birthplace of Guru Nanak, founder of Sikhism. Delhi till 1911 was majorly a Mughal city, but by 1950 it was a Punjabi city. Slums came up in the Bombay city. Okay, extremist movement. Yes, they will, wherever there will be the large scale migration, the refugees, there will be every type of social ills may take place. For example, Rohingya settled in the Bangladesh. Now it is a hotbed of lot of criminal activities there. You can see in the YouTube videos. There are a lot of documentaries there also. Role of Tarlok Singh. Tarlok Singh was the one who he was the ICS officer, London School of Economics, studied at London School of Economics, and he was the DG of Rehabilitation in Punjab. Okay, he was a member of Planning Commission until his retirement in 1967. He was the first chairman of Association of Social Science Institutions. He was given a lot of awards. And standard acre, standard acre according to the soil and climatic conditions. For dry, 4 physical acre is equal to 1 standard acre, and for canal colonies, green, 1 physical acre is equal to 1 standard acre. Graded cut for first 10 acres 25%, and for higher claims 30%, and subsequently 90%, 95%. Okay, finish. Thank you.